A 5-year-old boy who took a plane for the first time saw a car flying in the sky. More miraculous is, suddenly a blue sticky substance flew out of the car, sticking to the window of the plane. That day, a scientific research maniac, due to his passion for research, installed an automatic system for making breakfast in his house. Every morning after brushing his teeth and washing his face, the system will make an omelette breakfast for him. After eating, he focused on scientific research again, forgetting that day was the day he got married. This girl wearing a wedding dress is his fiancé. Her personality is gentle. Although her fiancé for scientific research has twice forgotten the date of their marriage, she still chooses to forgive him. In addition, preparing for the third marriage ceremony. As a result, when the wedding was about to begin, he came up with something interesting. He was eager for the experiment, not expecting one mistake blow up his whole house. Among the rubble, a jelly-like liquid appeared. This fluid has all forms and can even fly freely in the air. It also has a certain IQ. The researcher gave it a name of flying magic. Then let the AI take a picture of the two of them as a souvenir. Photographic light causes the fluid to react strongly. It transformed and jumped around, knocking over everything in the house. The house, which was crumbling, is now in ruins. It finally burst out of the window. The researcher just breathed a sigh of relief, but he was not reassured. The fluid again flew into the neighbor's house. In a split second, the windows were broken. This unlucky fat boy was eating corn when suddenly the liquid rushed to him and fell to the floor. When the body fluids attracted the attention of the neighbors, it also liked to watch television. Finally, after playing for 10 minutes, it returned home. It must be said that the researcher is indeed a genius. Soon he found a way to control the fluid. When he used the remote, control the liquid to slowly rise up. The watch on his hand suddenly chimed. Suddenly he remembered. At 6:30, he had to attend the wedding, so he hurriedly packed up to prepare to leave. But this yellow device told him the wedding was at 6:30 yesterday. It's already early the next morning. With a face full of regret, he ran to the school, looking for his fiancée to explain, but his fiancée was so heartbroken that she didn't want to care about him anymore. To save his love, he had to take the fluid out, say this thing can fly, and ask her if she believes it. To prove that, he had climbed up the window, put the liquid in his pants pocket, prepared to perform the flying performance in the air. The results of the fluid smeared his pants pocket. When he jumped down, he flew away. The unlucky researcher fell freely to the ground. Not only can't save love, it also get hurt by himself. The school principal's son looked at his father with an angry expression. Tell the researcher, fail his chemistry test. As a result, he did not pass the entrance exam to Harvard University. For the sake of his son's future, the principal sent 2 subordinates find the researcher's house, hoping to get money in exchange for his son's achievements. Those 2 subordinates went to the researcher's house, caught him researching the practical application of fluids, seeing him mix the liquid with a white mixture, then apply it to the golf ball hand cream. The resulting golf ball turned into a Harry Potter snitch ball. It refused to obey, flew around the house, started destroying the house again. 2 subordinates crawled in front of the window, surprised faces waiting to talk. Suddenly the ball flew out of the window, sending one of them to the ground. The researcher, feeling that wasn't enough, applied hand cream to the bowling ball. The bowling ball flew faster than the golf ball, hitting the other subordinate's face. 2 balloons flew down from above, hitting 2 subordinates and fell. Those 2 guys hid under the porch, but that was not the way. They count 1, 2, 3 together, then run out of that area. Unexpectedly, the researcher invented aerosol spray. Unfortunately, the spray hit the legs of those 2 guys, so those 2 suddenly flew up. They flew up to 10 meters high, then fell on the neighbor's tree, scaring the neighbor's boy. But the researcher did not know this. Right now he is busy researching flying cars. According to him, as long as he successfully studies flying cars, he can definitely prove it to his fiancée. That day he didn't intentionally forget about the wedding, just immersed himself in researching new inventions. It wasn't long before his flying car swayed and flew into the sky, for the first time feeling free flight. When the researcher turned, it was difficult to avoid wind resistance. As a result, the car unfortunately lost control, flew straight into a neighbor's house. Unfortunately, it got stuck on a neighbor's tree. This took the boy by surprise. The boy shouted for his mother. The boy's apple tree not only grew apples, but also people and cars. Gradually the researcher mastered the driving technique. He crossed the sea, saw the swan through the clouds, and felt that the burning power was also okay. He had driven to his fiancée's house, about to confess again. As a result, he saw his opportunistic love rival dating his fiancée. His love rival for dating his fiancée offered to bet on tomorrow's basketball game if his fiancée's school loses, so she had to go on a private date with him. When the researcher heard that, he was very angry and went home to lie on the bed. At the same time, the AI downloaded photos of beautiful girls, then combined the clothes into a stunning beauty, then made a virtual image, sneaked in front of the researcher, intending to give a kiss. Suddenly the researcher woke up. The AI was very embarrassed, immediately retracted the magic and went to recharge. Unexpectedly, the researcher ran over, very happy to tell the AI, O to prevent his rival from dating his fiancée. E, which is to take advantage of flying fluid, change the player's shoes to make them win, and so the researcher made dozens of nails with flying fluid attached, then sprayed a layer of paint on the nails. He sneaked nails into the player's shoes. In the beginning of the competition they lost, but after half a match, the paint was quite friction. The athlete of their school suddenly flew up to 10 meters and came back in the second half of the match. Seeing that the school of his fiancée won, the researcher was pleased, went to find the fiancé to steal the credit, but the fiancé still refused to pay attention to him, didn't say a word, got into the car. The researcher being rejected again is heartbreaking. Go home and talk to the AI with all his heart. Tell him how much he loves his fiancée. E, make the AI go melting. So that night the AI made a big decision. It went to the fiancé's house by itself, played the video of the researcher confiding. The sincere confession touched his fiancée. E, she immediately forgave the researcher. The two men made peace again. That night drove the car to see the moon. But when they returned happily, prepared to be free, suddenly, the principal brought his subordinates. It turned out that the principal knew the commercial value of the flying liquid, so he immediately came and wanted to buy back the use rights. But the researcher thought they did not change their evil thoughts, did not hesitate to refuse at all costs. There was no way the principal had to leave, realizing his invention was very valuable. The next day he and his fiancée drove to the car company, wanting to sell the copyright. The president of the car company saw the researcher's car hanging in the air, offered an exorbitant price, bought the copyright. When researchers negotiate, the principal didn't give up, letting someone break into his house, preparing to take away the fluid. Although the AI detected them, they did not have the ability to fight, so they were defeated. When the two of them got home, they discovered that the house had been broken into. The document on the flying fluid disappeared. Seeing that the AI was damaged, he was extremely angry and immediately drove to the principal's house to solve it. The principal thought that he would be able to control everything at his home, so flamboyantly forced the scientist to hand over the technology to his rival, who was also a new technical expert unconditionally. At the crucial moment, he took the remote control, turned on the car's headlights to shine in the window, then panicked the fluid to make it stronger, making the principal's subordinates turn into idiots. The fluid also entered the enemy's mouth, turning him into a madman. And so the two of them defeated the villains, held the fourth wedding. Unfortunately, this time he still didn't come to the wedding, but he sent AI there to rescue, doing experiments and video calls at the same time. As soon as the wedding was over, he blew up his house. He had to drive his wife to wander the horizon, live a life without worries.